And okay, so my brother called. Said my mom was asking about me. Again. Like I'd sprouted a second head. You know how it is with her, always needs to know things. Her default setting is concerned parent, and it's. Anyway, I was staring at this spreadsheet. Numbers just swimming, like little neon fish in a digital aquarium. Hours of this. Just rows and columns and formulas that made my eyes feel like they were being scrubbed with sandpaper. And I swear, the whole thing started to shimmer. Like heat off the pavement in July. A mirage in the desert of corporate finance. This woman from accounting walked by, holding a. It had little wheels on the side. I didn't ask. I never ask. Then my brother calls again. Breathless this time. She knows, he says. Knows what? I'm about to ask, but he hangs up. Just clicks. The sound of a connection severed, leaving me. So I'm left with this half-chewed thought. My mom knows what? That I accidentally sent her that meme about. Probably. She's surprisingly adept at finding my digital embarrassments. My uncle, the one who thinks crypto is. He's convinced it's the next big thing. He's been sending me links to this company. He didn't reply. Weird. He usually launches into a monologue about this woman. The one who always wears those enormous scarves that look like they're trying to escape her body, was at my desk. She had this look. Like she'd just discovered the secret ingredient in. Her name is Brenda, I think. Or maybe this person the scarf makes identification difficult. She wanted to talk about Q3 projections. The air around her thickened with the scent of stale coffee and unspoken anxieties. I just nodded. My left eyebrow started doing this weird twitch thing. Couldn't stop it. Like it was trying to communicate in Morse code. ... SOS? And or maybe just a sign of impending eyebaggery. Then the email landed. From the bank. Subject line, important update regarding your account. Oh, here we go. The digital equivalent of a sternly worded letter from the principal's office. I opened it, bracing myself for some kind of. Well, I don't know. A lecture? A confiscation of my virtual pet rock collection? And my mom's probing questions were suddenly feeling like. This felt more like a monsoon of financial doom. It was Q3 projections. Exactly what the scarf lady wanted. I swear, the universe has a twisted sense of humor. Or maybe it's just bored. It enjoys orchestrating these elaborate, slightly absurd coincidences. A cosmic comedian with a penchant for spreadsheets. So I told her Q3 was looking robust. Like a well-fed badger. She blinked. I think she was expecting more. A detailed breakdown, perhaps. A 5-year forecast. But that's all I had. Robust. It felt off adequate descriptor for. Mind you, I'm still trying to piece together what my mom actually knows. My brother's cryptic call is not helping. It's like he's speaking in riddles wrapped in static. Did she find out about the time I? Or is it something more? Financial? The thought of her knowing about my hidden portfolio of obscure collectibles just makes my stomach do a little somersault. Not a good one. More like a panicked flip, the kind you do when you realize you've left the oven on. My uncle's dog food text keeps popping into my head. Artisanal dog food. Who even thinks of that? Maybe it's a metaphor. For something. Something about niche markets and untapped potential. Or maybe he just likes dogs and thinks they deserve premium kibble. I don't know. The sheer specificity of it is unsettling. This guy in the next cubicle is humming. Loudly. And it's off-key. It sounds like a trapped bee trying to escape a kazoo. He does this every day around 3 p.m. It's a low, guttural drone that vibrates through the cheap particle board walls. I swear, if he keeps it up, I might spontaneously combust into a pile of organized paperwork. I'd be efficiency, even in my fiery demise. My mom. She's convinced I'm still that kid who collected. It's adorable, in a deeply infuriating way. She still asks if I'm eating properly. She'd probably be shocked if she knew I'd. They flopped, by the way. The concept was too ambitious. People prefer the tactile experience of folding. Who knew? But the initial surge was glorious. A brief moment of financial triumph. The scarf lady is back. She's holding a stapler like it's a weapon. A tiny, silver, office supply weapon. She wants to know about the buzzword of corporate aspiration. I just want to go home and watch documentaries about competitive cheese rolling. That's my kind of. The thrill of the chase, the unexpected tumble, the cheesy victory. She leaned in. Whispered. Her breath smelled faintly of mints and existential dread. Are we on track? I looked at my screen. The numbers were still shimmering. The digital aquarium was in full bloom. I felt a strange urge to tell her the truth. That the numbers were a lie. That my entire career was built on that the Q3 projections were less a forecast and more a wish list scribbled on a cocktail napkin. But I didn't. I just said, robust. She nodded. Slowly. Like she was processing a particularly complex alien transmission. Her scarves rustled. Then she walked away, her scarves trailing behind. Or maybe a stylish, mobile windsock. My brother texted. She asked if you still wore that weird band t-shirt. What weird band t-shirt? I haven't worn a band t-shirt since. Well, since a band t-shirt was a thing. Like, the early 2000s. This is getting ridiculous. Is she still living in the past? Does she think I'm still going to basement shows and moshing until my knees give out? I decided to check my personal account. Just a quick peek. You know, to confirm the robustness. To see if my digital fish were still swimming with vigor. The numbers were not what I remembered. A little less shimmering, a little more stark. The neon glow had dimmed. The aquarium felt a bit empty. I closed the window. My hands felt a bit clammy. The air in the office suddenly felt thick, heavy. That's when I noticed it. The crooked picture frame on the wall. A photo of me and my parents at some long-forgotten holiday. My dad's tie was askew. My mom was smiling, her eyes crinkling at the corners. A moment of genuine happiness. Then I remembered. The investment. The self-folding laundry baskets. They hadn't just flopped. They'd imploded. Spectacularly. Like a poorly constructed soufflé. I'd lost a significant chunk. Like, the kind of chunk that makes you reevaluate your entire existence. And the kind of chunk that makes you question all your life choices, from the mundane to the monumental. So I told my brother, tell Mom I'm fine. More than fine. I'm spectacularly stable. It was a bold-faced lie. He replied with a single emoji. A sideways grin. He knows. Or maybe he just enjoys my elaborate fabrications. The scarf lady's stapler. It was still on my desk. I picked it up. It felt heavier than it looked. Like it was, compressed regrets. The metallic sheen absorbed the fluorescent office light. I could almost hear it whispering tales of. I need to call the dentist about that molar that's been bothering me. It's probably just a cavity, but it's starting. I think I'm going to go home. And watch cheese rolling. It feels safer. More predictable. The path of the cheese is erratic, but the outcome is always the same, gravity wins. And nobody asks about. Or artisanal dog food. Whatever. The drive home was a blur of traffic lights and existential dread. The radio played a song I vaguely remembered from my teenage years. It sounded tinny and desperate. The smell of exhaust fumes and damp asphalt filled the car. I kept replaying Brenda's question in my head, are we on track? On track for what? Financial ruin? A promotion to middle management hell? I pulled into my driveway, the gravel crunching under the tires. The house. Too quiet. The silence felt off. I walked in, the door groaning shut behind me. The air inside smelled faintly of lemon polish and old newspapers. I kicked off my shoes, the leather creaking. The living room was exactly as I'd left it. A pile of mail on the coffee table. A half-read book face down on the sofa. The mundane details of a life that felt increasingly precarious. My phone buzzed. Another text from my uncle. Heard a rumor about a new breed of hypoallergenic truffle-sniffing dogs. Think about the market potential. I ignored it. Truffle-sniffing dogs. My uncle's mind was a labyrinth of bizarre investment opportunities. I couldn't even begin to process it. I wandered into the kitchen. The refrigerator hummed a low, steady tune. I opened it, peering inside at the meager contents. A half-eaten jar of pickles. Some wilting lettuce. A carton of milk that was probably past its prime. I closed it without taking anything. The thought of food felt overwhelming. I went to my room. The bed looked inviting. I collapsed onto it, the springs groaning in protest. The ceiling fan whirred lazily overhead. I closed my eyes. Images flashed behind my eyelids, spreadsheets, hamster cages, confused peacocks, and the glint of a stapler. And my brother texted again. She also asked if you remembered your childhood imaginary friend's name. Said it was something French. What the hell? My imaginary friend? I hadn't thought about that in years. Was it Pierre? Or Gaston? This was escalating into a full-blown psychological interrogation. I stared at the ceiling. The fan's blades cast moving shadows on the wall. I felt a strange detachment. This was my life. A series of increasingly absurd inquiries and shaky financial maneuvers. The memory of the self-folding laundry baskets returned. The initial excitement. The late nights spent poring over market research. The sheer, unadulterated belief that this was it. The big one. And then. The crash. The spectacular, ignominious crash. It was like watching a fireworks display that ended with a single, sad fizzle. I sat up. The room felt stuffy. I needed air. And I walked to the window, looking out at the darkening sky. Streetlights flickered on, casting pools of orange light on the wet pavement. A car drove by, its headlights sweeping across my face. My brother texted again. She said your imaginary friend's name was Bartholomew. And that you used to make him wear tiny hats. Bartholomew. Tiny hats. My mother's memory was a terrifyingly accurate archive of my childhood follies. I leaned my forehead against the cool glass of the window. The world outside hummed with its own secret, inexplicable rhythms. The rustling of leaves. The distant siren. The soft thud of a newspaper hitting a porch. I thought about the scarf lady. Brenda. Or Barbara. Did she suspect anything? Or was she just another cog in the... I hoped, for her sake, that her Q3 projections were more reliable than mine. My phone vibrated again. My uncle. Just saw an article about pet-sized lederhosen. Apparently, it's a growing market in Bavaria. Think about it. I closed my eyes. Lederhosen. 4 dogs. My uncle was a visionary, or possibly just deeply, profoundly bored. I walked back to the bed. I picked up the book I'd left on the sofa earlier. It was a dense historical novel about the Dutch East India Company. Dry as dust. But right now, anything was better than contemplating my own financial implosion. The words on the page swam before my eyes. The intricate machinations of 17th-century trade. the rise and fall of empires. It was a relief to immerse myself in a world where the stakes felt less personal, less robust. My brother texted one last time. She said Bartholomew had a little monocle. And that you were a bit bossy with him. Bartholomew. Tiny hats. A monocle. My mother was a biographer of my imaginary life. It was both comforting and deeply unnerving. I put the book down. The silence of the house pressed in on me. The hum of the refrigerator seemed there now. I wondered what my mom was doing. Was she watching TV? Knitting? Worrying about my phantom French imaginary friend? I looked at my phone. The screen glowed in the dim light. I scrolled through the texts. My uncle's increasingly bizarre investment ideas. My brother's updates on my mother's increasingly interrogations. My own terse, evasive replies. It was a tapestry of suburban anxiety and digital miscommunication. A modern-day epic of familial concern and questionable financial decisions. I stood up and walked to the kitchen. I opened the refrigerator again. The wilting lettuce. The pickles. The milk. I took out the milk. It was still cold. I poured a glass. The white liquid glinted under the harsh fluorescent light. I took a sip. It tasted neutral. Like the absence of flavor. I put the glass down. The silence in the house was no longer just quiet. It was heavy. Laden with unspoken questions and unacknowledged anxieties. I needed to go home. And watch cheese rolling. It felt like the only logical course of action. The only path that promised a semblance of predictability. A world where gravity, at least, was a constant. A world without. And/or artisanal dog food. Whatever. I do not know. You figure it out.